CaveFam, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another reaction. This is Segovia coming to you live from the man cave. Hope everyone out there is having a good Saturday, y'all. We're back to another reaction. We got some of the scariest videos on the internet. We're gonna save some of that good old-fashioned chit chat for the end of the video, so let's get into it. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show.
For knowing that Trump is in office,
I do too.
I feel great about it. I just
what I don't feel safer is right now they're launching missiles into Russia.
Yeah.
How are you allowed to do that when you're on the way out? Like, the people don't want you to be there anymore. This should be like some sort of a pause for like significant actions that could potentially start World War III. Maybe that would be a good thing that we would like to avoid from a dying former president.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole thing is nuts.
I mean, look, I don't know shit about politics.
Zelensky says Putin is terrified. Fuck you, man. Fuck you people. You fucking people are about to start World War III.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Russia fired a missile today.
I feel like they fired an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time ever. It's the first time one of those has ever been used.
That's insanity.
It's fucking insanity, because those intercontinental ballistic missiles can have nukes on them. This one didn't, but if it does, the whole world changes. And it changes because of the military-industrial complex, and it changes because of the money that's going to Ukraine, and it changes because the outgoing president or whoever the fuck is actually running the country has decided to do something fucking insane.
Yeah,
fucking insane. And we're all sitting there watching it, and people are cheering it on. CNN was saying, like, finally. See what their headline was about Zelensky about Biden giving Zelensky the ability to use long-range missiles. U.S. made long-range. It's not like nobody knows where they came from. It's not like nobody knows we've been funding this. It's a proxy war. The whole thing is fucking insane. It's insane. Come to the negotiation table. Sit down. Work this out. Stop killing everybody.
Guess how
They're gonna wait. They're gonna milk it as much as they can until January, y'all, and then we'll see. Then they're gonna come to the negotiation table. Now, it's not the Ukraine that doesn't want it, because we saw in yesterday's video in the beginning, he wanted to sit down with the other people and come to an agreement. And I don't think Putin's agreement is too much to ask for. I don't think he's asking for too much. But we saw how much billions of dollars were missing at the Pentagon. The L word, what you do to money, Ozark. If anybody's seen Ozark, what they do with that money, that's what they're doing with that war.
how much it costs for one person plus parking to go to Disneyland on a Saturday?
This is ridiculous. I haven't been to Disneyland in a while. But this is crazy. Look at that. $241, y'all.
$241. That's not even accounting for food
Yep.
or obviously the gear you want to buy when you're there. That's a $500 day for one person. That's gross. Bob, if you're listening,
Your $8 bottle of water, your $10 Monster. Go early. You want that $10 cup of coffee, that $10 churro, lunch, $15 corn dog. You know, it adds up quick. You got a kid with you, he's going to want some stuffed animals. That's a $50 stuffed animal. It's like the Boy Scouts, y'all. I went to Lowe's the other day, and the Boy Scouts were out there selling popcorn. The popcorn, how much is it? $30 for a bag of popcorn, y'all. I didn't say nothing. I said, no, thank you. But in my mind, I was like, shame on these parents having their kids come out here asking us for $30 for a bag of popcorn. Now, if it was, $8, I would have bought it. But $30 for a bag of popcorn from the Boy Scouts, just white cheddar popcorn. You can go to get the Smart Food for, $4 or $5. Like, that's crazy that they have kids, the scout leaders or whoever they are, they got kids out there asking $30 for a bag of popcorn, y'all. How much are the Girl Scout cookies? $5, $10? I haven't got Girl Scout cookies in a long time, so I don't know. Now I get them at the grocery store for $2, but that's crazy, y'all.
Towers collapse, and when they collapsed, they gutted other buildings, they smashed out foundations of other buildings, they smashed out windows of all the surrounding buildings. So those had collapsed into 6 stories of rubble and twisted metal and iron and pulverized concrete, which that pulverized concrete was kind of a moon dust. I'll never forget it. You step on it and it was these clouds and it was everywhere. I mean, it was a huge radius. And
Crazy
papers just everywhere for blocks in every direction. Because, when it came down, it just compressed it all out and pushed it out. So you got 6 stories of rubble. You got this powder which a couple days later it rained, and then that turned into a paste, and you had burnout cars and all these fire trucks that were burnt out, but there were skeletons of the trucks and skeletons of cars, and it was very surreal. When you walked downtown, it was surreal. That's the only way I could describe it, because it looked like a movie.
All right, what?
Isn't that crazy, y'all? People from the 90s and earlier lived through that, lived through Y2K, lived through a 20-year war, lived through the pandemic. Like, we've seen a lot. I was born in 1990, so I've seen a lot in that short period of time, y'all. A lot of crazy life-changing events.
What does the panel think of Ellen leaving the country? Oh, this I find so fascinating, because first Ellen is canceled by the left. I mean, she said, I was kicked out of show business. That wasn't from the right. That was because she had a toxic workplace and all the things that the people are. So then Trump so she's canceled by the left in her country, but then she's leaving the country because the right got elected. I'm just asking about that. It doesn't completely compute, right?
Did she sell her house?
Do you think she's really going to leave?
Yes, she's already there.
There he is,
Actually,
y'all. That's your guys' favorite.
Cotswold,
England.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know. I've met her mother, and I don't think she would have agreed with that. The mother is very down to earth. Her mother.
She's always lived in LA, right?
Yes.
Now she's in the Cotswolds.
Yeah.
I give it like 4 months.
Why? Is it boring now?
And by the way, you heard Fareed Zakaria report that the GDP per capita of the UK, if it were a state of the United States, would be 51st.
Right.
And so there's a very big difference between living in the United States and living anywhere else in the world. So I think she's overreacting.
But if you have money, every place is good. Right?
I don't know.
It's real good over there. It's real good. Think about it. If it's the 51st, so the poorest state in the country, but you're I don't know, she's a billionaire, multi-millionaire, living somewhere that's cheap like that, I'd be living like a doctor, as my guy Joey Diaz would say.
What you
That's why
did
she
at
left,
that
though.
party that night?
Please.
It's the truth.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But not too late. Because, you know, once you get there, the party really starts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Someone you would not want to be stuck in an elevator with.
Donald Trump.
Me too! But I heard that you were.
How did this happen?
Hey guys, this is crazy. If what I think
My dumbass when I downloaded that, I thought he was floating on the road cut in half. That's why I said, how did he get stuck on this? I thought the road was a little Beltron moment, y'all. If y'all know, y'all know.
we're seeing is what we're seeing. This is a bomb cyclone undergoing the Fujiwara effect. This is not common to
This doesn't
see.
look good.
We have seen this multiple times this year, mind you. We saw this with Hurricane Helene. We saw this with tornadoes that were off the coast of Florida and Milton. And now we're seeing it with this bomb cyclone. This is crazy to see. This is very, very rare. I've never seen this in my lifetime where a bomb cyclone underwent a Fujiwara effect. I mean, this is extremely rare to see.
That looks crazy.
We did tell you guys that if you're in Northern California, you're going to get tons of rain, and that is what has happened. You guys are going to get rain until, next week, right? Northern California, you guys are getting rain pretty much until next Friday. You might have 1 or 2 days of no rain, but there's some parts of California for the week that are forecasted to have over 18 inches of rain. So, I mean, you guys are going to have a lot of precipitation. And that also includes Oregon and Washington. You guys are going to have more of like the snow, colder precipitation, but California's going to get plenty of rain. But to see this in effect is crazy.
I personally believe this is one of the most important scientific discoveries of all time. I am really shocked that we didn't even learn this in school. This is some next level stuff, and it was verified to be true. Dr. Masarimoto. And what he discovered was, you know, when you speak to the water and you say certain things like, I love you, or, you know, you're my friend.
Or beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Angel. It could be simple, just like angel, happiness, peace. When you say these positive words to the water and then you freeze it, it makes beautiful shapes.
Most of the time they're symmetrical. They look like
you
beautiful.
Google images. They have photos of this.
They look like snowflakes, like beautiful, symmetrical snowflakes.
Now, when you say mean, nasty words to the water, and then they freeze the water, it would make ugly,
asymmetrical
shapes.
Asymmetrical.
Yeah, like cracks.
That's
and looks
crazy.
Like damage.
Bubbles.
And you basically prove that, like, your consciousness and your will combined with the intention behind your words affects reality. It's like the concept that, like, your words are magic, so much so that you change physical reality.
Yeah, it is quite literally proof that the things that come out of your mouth
change reality,
affect your physical surroundings. And they
I believe that, y'all. If you believe it, not only believe it, but feel it, not even in the mind, but it starts in the mind, but you got to feel it in your soul, and there's no stopping it. Now, I saw a good video once. I'm not really a fan of the guy. I'm not even going to say his name, but he brought up, like, the universe is very giving. If you put in the work and you know you gave it your all, it's going to give. And he used a good analogy saying, I've never seen once somebody that eats a clean diet and works out every day and eats clean every day not get in shape. Never seen it, because the universe is, you know, it's rewarding. If you do what you need to do and you do it 100%, you're going to get rewarded, y'all. I really believe that.
Take pictures of the parasites that get out of you on these different deworming programs. Woman got 18-inch long critters out of her that were so thick she couldn't get them into a top of a juice bottle.
Damn.
They're usually translucent, they're usually white, and there's some of them that look like tarantula spiders, some of them look like grasshoppers, some of them look like little tiny miniature sailboats. Some of them look like little spacecraft.
This is truly going to blow your mind. It'll change the way that you view health altogether. This guy looked through these books from the 1800s and he noticed they all had parasite cleansers.
And what did they know back then? What were they doing? Guessing? I started finding books that were published by doctors through the 1800s, books that they read and books that they learned from. And lo and behold, out of every single book were deworming programs, parasite programs. For doctors in those days did autopsies and they found parasites. And I looked at that and I got a hold of doctors and they said, no, we don't have parasites today.
Where'd they go?
So we started to search for parasite programs just to see what was going on, to see if maybe something was happening that we really didn't understand. So I did myself first. And lo and behold, I got 8 and 10-inch critters out of me. They were white. First of all, they were in the toilet water and they were all bunched up. I thought it was mucus. Until, just for a curiosity, I threw some hot water in the toilet to warm it up and then went and gosh, they
Can you imagine?
Out, they were swimming all over. We're now doing pictures in color out of clinics where you go potty on a special pot screen in it and they take pictures of the parasites that get out of you on these different deworming programs. Yeah, this is really strange stuff. I have never yet dewormed anyone where they didn't tell me, hey, I feel 25% better. Maybe got halitosis, you're loaded, because that's worm urine and worm droppings that you're breathing out. So it's no wonder your breath's bad. When they pee, that's called ammonia. So just go to a doctor, have a blood test, and see what level of ammonia is in your blood. If you have ammonia in your blood, that's called worm urine. You get a headache. You got the headache because the worms are all peeing, trying to get you to eat something else. They're trying to make you sick so you'll get off of what you're doing and start eating. So you take some arginine and orthodine, and in about 20 minutes, if the headache's gone, you've neutralized the worm urine and you know that you're loaded. All children that have little tiny pimples on the backs of their arms or little tiny pimples here on the edges of their cheeks have 5 varieties of critters in them. 5 varieties. It's time to deworm. It's time to get them out.
Hey, do you remember when the ATF ruined a man's life over 2 short-barrel shotguns? They definitely don't talk about the part where they entrapped him. What about the part where they snuck onto his family's property in full camouflage? like a military unit. What about the part where the son got murdered because he was defending the family property? Oh, and they also killed the family dog, which is kind of on brand for them. You definitely didn't forget about the part where the wife was holding their baby girl and the ATF decided to snipe her while she was in the doorway, defenseless. Oh, and the guy had to watch his wife rot in the living room for several days while the siege continued. This is one of the government overreach stories that you should probably pay attention to. I mean, it was a complete success if you listen to the ATF. This is just a quick reminder to let you know that your government fucking hates you, and they will definitely kill you if they need to.
Jeez.
Sarah Weaver is still alive, so if you want her side of the story, maybe check that out. Maybe stick around. We'll probably talk about Waco too.
Here's what the new Netflix By Now documentary doesn't tell you. From Adidas to Apple to Amazon, this documentary exposes the hidden tactics used by the world's biggest corporations to lock us in to an endless cycle of consumption, no matter the cost. But when it comes to this amount of clothing waste, we can't just buy less. We need data-driven policy. This call is coming from the communities on the front lines of the textile waste crisis. They are calling for industry-wide accountability by demanding that all fashion brands disclose their annual production numbers. This is where you come in. Share this video and tag your nominated brand in the comments, ask if they've seen this waste, and demand that they speak volumes.
Is that documentary out? Let me know down below, y'all. If it is, I'm gonna watch it tonight. Once everybody's gone, we're done, we're stuffed from all the turkey and stuffing we're doing today. Stick around for the end. I'll tell you guys a little bit what's going on. I want to check out that documentary. I'd like to see that.
Something happened in 1989. Exactly. What happened was the vaccine schedule was increased. We went up from receiving about 10 vaccines in our generation to these kids received 24 vaccines. And they all had this thimerosal and this mercury. And nobody bothered to do an analysis of what the cumulative impact of all that mercury was doing to kids.
Mercury-containing vaccines may help, not harm kids, according to 2 new studies in the journal Pediatrics. There have been widespread concerns that mercury-based preservatives in vaccines might impair the neurological development of children. These new studies suggest that the opposite, that the preservatives may actually be associated with improved behavior and mental performance.
As it turns out, we are injecting our children with 400 times the amount of mercury that FDA or EPA considers safe. A child on his first day that he's born is injected with a hepatitis B shot. Under EPA guidelines, he would have to be 275 pounds to safely absorb that shot.
And yet we're just constantly pumping our kids with these vaccines.
Right, and what happened was that in 1988, 1 in every 2,500 American children had autism. Today, 1 in every 166 children have autism. And plus, 1 in 6 children have other kinds of learning disorders, other kinds of neurological disorders, speech delay, language disorders, ADD, hyperactivity, that all seem to be connected, the science shows are all connected to autism.
You know, Bobby, we've always found, you and I could debate 1,000 different issues, whether it's Terry Schiavo or the environment. I think would agree on the environment. But in this case, you've got the federal government coming in saying, well, there's no good science. And of course, in politics, science always gets diluted. Why hasn't the federal government stepped up and worked more? Because listen, Bobby, I can't prove it tonight. You can't prove it, but intuitively, you look at the spike, you look at what happened with the Marisol, there is no doubt in my mind, maybe it's 2 years from now, maybe it's 5 years from now, maybe it's 10 years from now, we're going to find out that the Marisol causes, in my opinion, autism. You know what?
I have known this for a long time. There are too many heavy metals in the vaccines which don't need to be there. You just need the dead virus so that your body can create antibodies and fight back the actual alive virus once you come into contact with it.
Look at that.
Here's why I'm pissed off. That the NFL had to even issue a statement about it. Because celebrations usually don't warrant that. It doesn't require a response from the league. So why was it necessary this time? You know why? Because we got a bunch of people still living with their heads in the cloud, acting like they get to protest every little damn thing. And why am I ticked off? Because it was emblematic of the climate that we've been living in for years now, which is why I believe Donald Trump was really elected. Yeah, it was inflation. That was an issue. The economy, that was an issue. The border, that was an issue. But woke culture, cancel culture, oh, hell yes, that played a role.
Sure did.
Ani nemůžeme se podívat dovnitř. Mimozemšťani přiletěli.
Hollywood loves to put the truth right in front of our face and leave us clues to follow. Y'all remember this movie where this woman turns back the clock as she gets older? Most people don't know this is not fiction and its real world counterpart actually exists. Watch this.
Of the people that I know that look freakishly and unusually young for their age, I cannot get over how many of them have told me that I'm on NAD, and I'm talking about everywhere from a gym to a golf course to a business meeting. And I'm talking about visually, shockingly looking young people. Mainly people in their 50s that look like they could be in their 30s or early 40s to me.
And these two got caught with exactly what he was talking about. Watch this next clip very carefully.
How are you? I'm tired. I am here in the doctor's office, and what we are about to do is the nurse is going to put in an IV, and it's called NAD.
I think that doing like NAD multiple days in a row is fine. I'm gonna NAD for the rest of my life, and I'm never gonna age.
But just if I can, yeah, what specifically is happening in 40 days that you're referring to?
You start creating new clean burning fuel.
In 40 days, what's happening in 40 days? I just completely reject the premise of your question that in 40 days, gas prices are going up. So let's just completely reject that.
Don't tell me this is one of Elon's rockets. This looks like freaking cardboard,
It does.
y'all. Like, really? This is flying through space, flying through the atmosphere? Yeah, we get it. It's sheet metal, but I mean, come on, you guys. That would not provide any support. There'd be no reason for that crap on there. It reminds me how the Apollo 11 was made out of aluminum foil, basically, and aluminum melts at, like, what, 1200? And it got up to 5000 at the re-entry to Earth. I remember last year, they were saying that these things that we kept seeing in the sky were SpaceX, right? If that was really cardboard or sheet metal, that stuff would have blown right off or melted off. Mars, here we come.
Do you expect more terrorist attacks in the U.S.?
No, 100%. Soon.
Soon?
Very soon.
On the level of 9/11?
Way different, probably worse. I think what's going to happen will be gun-free zones, probably in blue states. When they activate their sleeper cells, who are already here, I'm talking Grand Central Station, elementary school in Arizona, anything you can imagine, everything from EMP to blowing up bridges, infrastructure, anything. I mean, imagine if everything just shuts off.
Do you think there's a bigger threat from Islamic terrorists doing things in the U.S. or homegrown terrorists like a Timothy McVeigh?
I think the jihadis. I don't think the homegrown terrorists are as bad as a lot of the media tries to spin up to be. Even
Timothy McVeigh was pretty horrific.
I'm at the point now where I'll believe or disbelieve anything. So yeah, it was him, and yeah, he got executed. I'm not well read enough.
Are you saying he didn't do that?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I'm not well read enough to.
He had a whole van
I'm also
full
saying
of fertilizer that he detonated right next to the building.
Yeah, and like Jack Ruby killed Lee Harvey Oswald, who was saying he was a pat. I didn't do anything. Boom, he's dead. Oh, look at that, case closed. We haven't seen a lot of homegrown terrorism.
We see a lot of shootings.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Which you don't see in other countries. Church shootings, school shootings. I mean, it's pretty messed up.
Again, education. These are bad people.
For anybody who hasn't already heard, a gentleman named Cliff High used predictive software that he modeled back in 2009 to predict that Joe Rogan would do an interview with Donald Trump.
There we go.
He said following 39 days after, there would be a UFO battle in our skies where the U.S. military would get involved, as well as other UFOs. That was 28 days ago today. 11 days. That's all you have.
Do you see this? It's literal slime. It's like slime.
If vaccines work, then why do vaccinated people still get sick? Shouldn't the vaccine stop them from getting sick? Isn't that concerning?
All of a sudden we were told the next guest is on her way. It's Jennifer Lopez. You guys need to clear the room. Everybody needs. And suddenly there was an instant panic. And again, I've been to doing a lot of talk shows in the green room with a lot of actors, And I'd never had that experience. So when we all went to the elevator, I realized, oh, I forgot my overcoat. So I went back into the room to get my overcoat that was hanging over a chair. And when I turned around, Jennifer walked into the room. She looked at me. So I said, hello, Jennifer. I said, we work together on Monster in Law. Jennifer just looked at me, just gave me a blank stare, and then looked away to her bodyguards as if, you were told to get this trash and clear the room. Why isn't this room cleared? It confirmed everything of, you can't even find words to say hello or yes, I remember, or
Crazy.
Again, how are you? She just gave a look as if,
Like that.
I need this room cleared. That's what you were told to do your job.
It's so crazy. Like, does that amount of fame and money do that to you? Because I couldn't picture being like that to somebody. You know, I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, I don't remember, but man, that's awesome. Cool. Like, all right, have a good one. You know, before you just to look at your security guard, like, what is this doing in here? Didn't I tell you to get him out? That's crazy. That's what fame does to you. No thanks.
If a rapper can do this to make it look like he's descending from a UFO with aliens, and hundreds and even thousands of people in New York City are witnessing this, some of them scared for their lives, I can't imagine what someone with access to some of the most powerful technology in the world and access.
Oh, wait, that was legit? There is like a lot of TikToks going around of something like this and people in New York like running like scared and stuff. I thought it was fake and like CGI, which it is, right? But I didn't know it was actually like a planned show. I would have put that on the reaction, y'all.
Access to billions of dollars can do. Obviously, this isn't real, and I'm sure after some time they realized that this was probably a hologram. But this is just Lil Uzi Vertical, a rapper, doing a promotion for his album. This is absolutely insane. It's for his album Eternal A Take Two, and it has this whole alien vibe and some weird demonic stuff going on. But still, if you would have told me when I was growing up that this would be an album promotion, I would have thought you were crazy. And I'm not saying we should fear this technology because God is the king of this earth. I'm just letting you know that it's out there and it's important to be aware. But just take a look at this raw footage.
I didn't know that was like a concert or something. I would have threw it on here a long time ago. It's pretty crazy though, huh? That's little Uzi Vert. Imagine NASA that's got billions of dollars in the budget. It's gonna look for real, because that looks pretty damn legit if you just saw that.
Moments in TV history. It's March 6, 1995, and taping is underway for a new episode of The Jenny Jones Show. The segment features 6 guests, each with a secret admirer whose identity would be revealed for the first time during the show. Among the group, 24-year-old Jonathan Schmitz stood out as the most intriguing participant. Like the others, someone had harbored a crush on Jonathan, but had never confessed it. Until now. The twist? Jonathan's admirer was a man named Scott Amador, a mutual friend.
Which of these ways would you choose to reveal your secret crush on someone? A, would you write that person a letter? B, would you tell the person in private in case he rejects you? Or C, would you tell that person that you're gay and you hope he is on national television?
Despite their friendship, Scott had never shared his feelings, knowing Jonathan was straight and had never indicated otherwise. The stage was set for a shocking reveal, and the audience buzzed with anticipation.
I want you now to meet Donna and Scott. Now, Donna has been helping Scott pursue his secret crush on John. John's backstage. He can't hear us. How bad's the crush? Tell me about the first time you met him. Where was he?
Basically, well, he was under a car, working on her brake line.
Yeah. And that was your first time? What was your first impression?
Well, I only saw the lower half of him, so you can imagine.
What are we watching, y'all?
You think? Okay, you think?
All right, we had to fast forward a little bit. It got a little ridiculous, y'all. But he told him. Here we go.
The segment concluded with Jonathan reaffirming that he was straight, effectively dashing Scott's hopes. Though he remained composed on set, Jonathan left the show feeling humiliated and deeply unsettled. The knowledge that the episode would soon air weighed heavily on him, compounded by Scott's continued advances. Just 3 days later, Scott left a note on Jonathan's door that read, "If you want to turn this off, you'll need a special tool." For Jonathan, This was the breaking point. Enraged and humiliated, he purchased a shotgun, drove to Scott's home, broke in, and fired 2 fatal shots at point-blank range. After fleeing the scene, Jonathan called the police and confessed, citing the public humiliation from the show and Scott's persistence as his motivation. Arrested and sentenced to 22 years in prison, Jonathan was released in 2017.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why television is scripted now. Because of that. Back then it was real, it wasn't fake. Now if they did that, it'd be scripted, and that's what happens when you see all these prank videos on YouTube and that get millions of views. They're scripted, y'all, because that stuff would happen every day if they were for real.
There's something going on with our weather, and it's affecting different countries worldwide. The next 3 videos are literally from Spain and the United States. Around November 21st, 2024, multiple witnesses in different cities throughout Spain walked out to something weird in their skies. These clouds that were bright red, seen all over Spain. The first video was Valencia, the other one is Paiporta. But this is where it gets crazy. Around the same time in Florida, in the United States, a woman walked out to a bright red sky. Like everything was red. And it wasn't only reported in Florida. Other states saw the same thing. So what is causing this? Take a look at these videos and tell me what you think.
And it's not funny, because you're a threat to democracy. Sure. I was on the House floor when we went through the votes. I remember when you objected to the results in Arizona.
Now let me be clear. I don't know Congressman Allred. I have no animus for him personally. But I do know his voting record. His voting record is radical and extreme. And you want to talk about threats to democracy? Let's take a vote that just happened a few weeks ago on the floor of the House, the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act provided that in order to register to vote, you got to prove you're an American citizen. Congressman Allred voted no. 11.5 million illegal immigrants have come into this country under Kamala Harris and Colin Allred's open border policies, and Congressman Allred votes no to protecting our elections and ensuring that people don't vote illegally. That is a threat to democracy.
They sign you $3 million, 5 albums, but your album term might say you can't drop an album for 9 to 12 months. So if we do the math, that's some years. That's years, 4 years, 4 or 5 years, maybe even 6 years, because the average artist ain't just finna drop no album exactly on the 9 months. So it's still gonna be a stretch creating, and then while that's going on, they still gotta spend the money into you. So it's doubling down. So it's like most artists, you don't see no check from the label, but the one that you sign.
Star Wars is just a blatant remake of The Wizard of Oz, almost shot for shot. They're both about a young kid who lives on a farm with their aunt and uncle, who wistfully looks off into the distance, dreaming of adventure beyond the horizon. And after a bit of a disastrous incident, instigated by a villainous character in black, our hero interacts with a wise old man, and when he's sent off on an adventure, not sure whether they'll ever see home again, our hero also interacts with a bunch of small hyperactive creatures who effectively kickstart their journey down this long path. Along the way, they partner up with a clunky, awkward, effeminate metal man, and a giant furry monster type character, and most importantly, a scruffy-looking comic relief.
Who's scruffy-looking?
And while trying to sneak into the villain's fortress, they're almost discovered by guards, but our heroes defeat them and dress up in their uniforms, allowing them to sneak in and execute a rescue. The villain even orders the launch of their flying attack weapons to defeat our heroes before they can get to them. And despite receiving no specific training,
it's probably going to be
the hero
copyright.
learns they had the power within them all along to achieve their goal. And in both movies, the villain is defeated by a ridiculous weakness that really could have been avoided.
Oh, what a world, what a world! Who would have thought a good little girl like you could destroy my beautiful wickedness?
This new Christmas movie replaces Santa with Satan, and he tries to snatch the soul of a little boy. And who's the main actor? Jack Black. So in the new movie, Dear Santa,
I've told you guys before, I've never seen one Jack Black movie. I just don't like them. Something about them I just don't like. Never seen one. School of Rock, Lucha, whatever, the Mexican wrestlers. I've never seen any Jack Black movies. I'm just not a fan of them.
the child
I guess I see why now.
Santa to Satan and accidentally summons him. He tries sending him a wish list, but instead mails it to the devil. So Jack Black comes and tells the boy he is better than Santa. He gives him 3 wishes, and he continues to say,
By the way, after you make your wishes, I'm taking your soul. Satan tells the boy, let me show you a few of the things I can do for you. Shows him a casino, a post-Mulan concert where the kid actually meets the artist. The ending of the trailer hints at a wishful ending. You can go watch it for yourselves. But as you would expect, this has got a wild response, all the way from people saying, relax, it's just a movie, to parents trying to cancel Jack Black and saying, don't watch this movie. But I'm curious to know what you guys think, because when I saw Jack Black, I wasn't surprised whatsoever. But replacing Santa with Satan on Christmas, it's kind of wild.
November 25th, y'all. That's crazy. Like, it is just a movie, but like, it's too much now. This devil stuff it's in the music. It's tattooed on our artists on TV. It's on the movie theaters on Christmas or Thanksgiving Day. I don't even know, the 25th, close to Thanksgiving, right? It's just, it's too much now. And then you see the post-game conferences when they say, you know, I want to thank Jesus Christ, and they block it out, or the Coca-Cola where you can't put Jesus on the Coke can, but you can put the devil and all these other things. And it's just, that's why it's too much.
Last decode some of the occultic symbology in the movie Wicked. I found some very disturbing stuff. So let's start with her wand, then we'll move to the bottomless pit. Yes, it's the bottomless pit. So get a good look at her wand right here. And here it is again. Guess what this is? It's the same exact wand the Pope holds when he's paying homage to Helios, the sun god. See his head? See his wand? Here he is again right here. By the way, the sun god Helios is Lucifer. Also the light bearer. In Greek mythology, they called him a Titan or a Nephilim, which doesn't exactly fit Lucifer since he's just a fallen angel and not Nephilim. But still, they gave him the Titan headline. Let's move on to the head of Oz. This right here appears to me to be the image of the beast using artificial intelligence to make a living thing. But it gets crazier. Here it is now, surrounded with fire like the bottomless pit, and the angel or fallen angel that's over the bottomless pit is Apollyon or Abaddon. Guess what? Apollon's Helios too. But how can I prove this? Because the same head from the same thing on Broadway is quite literally Satan. You see the horns? Again right here? Quite literally the image of the beast being in the bottomless pit, also paying homage to Satan. And the transformation that Ariana Grande made for the movie speaks for itself. All this pollution is no good for you. Let me know what you think below.
And I know that theater is going to be packed with youngsters in there, y'all. But anyways, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed today's reaction. If you made it this far, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Busy day today, y'all. We just banged out a quick 40-minute video. I couldn't sit here and do an hour and 10 minutes with you guys today. I got a lot to do. We got my girlfriend's family coming over for Thanksgiving today, because on Wednesday we're going to Arizona. I'm thinking of taking all of my production to Arizona so I can get you guys some good content out there. I don't want to sit here for 2 whole days just doing reactions, because honestly they take a lot out of me, y'all. I got like 1 or 2 in me a day. So that's the plan, y'all. I'm taking the production to Arizona. Do a little work out there at my mom's house while we're there. We got some things I want to take her to a Suns game. I don't know if Durant's gonna be back. She's never been to a game. Where we live, they have no professional sports team. Closest sports teams are in Dallas, so it's closer to get to Los Angeles than it is to Dallas in the part of Texas I live in. So I kind of want to take her to experience, you know, a good professional Suns game. You know, it's a good atmosphere in there. She'll probably trip out. Really want to take her to a Cardinals game when it's 4th quarter with 2 minutes left. Cardinals got the ball with 2 minutes. It's 10-10. We need to kick a field, like that atmosphere of craziness and loudness. I want to take her to that. She'd trip out. Probably not for a while until my boy is a little older and take him to his first Cardinal game. But anyways, y'all, we got the family coming. I got to hang up some pictures. I got to get a trail run in. I haven't ran since Thursday, so I got to go get a run in for sure. That's the plans today. I'll probably post a little plate of my Thanksgiving plate for you guys. Check out a little later. Hope everyone out there has a good Saturday. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow on Sunday. Probably super bloated and just mind foggy and all that, but I'm gonna try to do a little clean today. Not go crazy, y'all. I'm gonna go crazy on the pumpkin pie, but on the stuffing and mashed potatoes, keep it simple with that, y'all. Stock up on the turkey. But anyways, y'all, this is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow on Sunday. Everybody have a good day out there. Later.